We all know some cities need better livability, infrastructure, or overall quality of life. But what baffles us is the excuses that city officials, residents, and planners devise to justify their region's shortcomings. This video will explore the most common excuses for poor urban development and emphasize the need for accountability and better urban planning to address the issues. First excuse: it's too late to fix it. This statement is a commonly cited excuse for bad cities, where the prevailing sentiment is resignation to the status quo of urban dysfunction. This defeatist mindset often leads policymakers, urban planners, and citizens to believe that the problems those cities face are insurmountable and that any attempts to fix them would be futile. Examining the root of this excuse: resignation to the status quo. The root of this excuse is due to several underlying factors. Historical failures. Cities may have faced numerous challenges and failed attempts at improvement in the past, leading to a belief that change is unattainable. These failures can create a sense of hopelessness and skepticism about the potential for any meaningful transformation. Bureaucratic inertia and lack of political will. The complexities of urban governance and decision-making processes may hinder the implementation of necessary reforms, fostering a sense of stagnation and an unwillingness to change the status quo. Additionally, the absence of strong leadership and political will to address the existing urban issues can perpetuate the resignation of the status quo.
The job of a leader is to note that inarticulate expression and to give it voice publicly, in speeches, let's say, but also to have that voice manifest itself in the body of laws that governs all of us. That's how the system works.
When policymakers prioritize short-term gains or avoid difficult decisions, the necessary actions to address long-standing problems may be postponed or dismissed. Case studies of cities that successfully transformed despite challenges. Singapore. In the 1960s, Singapore was an overcrowded, impoverished city grappling with sanitation and housing issues. Under the leadership of Lee Kuan Yew, the city embarked on an ambitious urban planning and development journey. Singapore invested in public housing, efficient public transportation, and green spaces. Implementing strict cleanliness and urban planning laws transformed the city into one of the cleanest and most orderly in the world.
So meritocracy is the first pillar of Singapore's secret formula. The second pillar is P, and P stands for pragmatism. Pragmatism is an English word and it's an English concept. But the best definition of pragmatism was given by China's leader, Mr. Deng Xiaoping, when he said it doesn't matter whether a cat is black or a cat is white. If the cat catches mice, it is a good cat. So in the same way, it doesn't matter what your ideology is. If it works, you use it.
With a high standard of living and a thriving economy. Bilbao, Spain. Bilbao was once an industrial city facing economic decline and pollution due to the collapse of its steel and shipbuilding industries. However, the city successfully transformed by focusing on cultural and urban regeneration. For example, the iconic Guggenheim Museum Bilbao, designed by Frank Gehry, became a symbol of the city's revival and a catalyst for tourism and economic growth. Bilbao's commitment to cultural development and creative urban planning demonstrated that cities can reinvent themselves with bold visions. The importance of incremental improvements. Overcoming the "it's too late to fix it" excuse requires addressing these root causes and fostering a new mindset that embraces the potential for positive change. It involves recognizing past failures as opportunities for learning, empowering visionary leadership, promoting public participation, and encouraging incremental improvements. These steps contribute to renewed hope and determination to transform bad cities into better, more livable urban environments. For example, if a city starts by adding a few bike lanes, this can encourage more people to bike, leading to more demand for bike infrastructure, leading to even more people biking, and so on. Second excuse: blame the geography. The misconception that geography determines a city's fate is rooted in the idea that its geographical location, topography, and natural resources dictate its potential for development and prosperity. While geography undoubtedly shapes certain aspects of a city, attributing a city's fate solely to its geographical features oversimplifies the complex interplay of various factors that influence urban development. Examples of cities that have overcome geographical obstacles. Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Dubai, situated in a desert region with extreme temperatures, faced significant geographical challenges for its development. But it has emerged as a global business and tourism hub through visionary planning and bold infrastructure projects. Dubai's impressive artificial islands, skyscrapers, and luxury resorts showcase how the city has capitalized on its geographical location to attract international investment and tourism. Hong Kong, China. Hong Kong's geography poses significant challenges on its hilly terrain and a narrow strip of land between mountains and the sea. Despite these limitations, Hong Kong has become a global financial and trading hub. The city's innovative urban planning has allowed it to make the most of its limited land area and transform into a dynamic metropolis. The role of smart urban planning in mitigating geographical limitations. By adopting innovative strategies and leveraging technology, cities can transform challenges posed by geography into opportunities for sustainable development and improved quality of life. Let's explore 4 ways urban planning helps overcome geographical limitations. Smart technologies. Advancements in technology enable cities to overcome geographical limitations effectively. Smart sensors and data analytics can aid in monitoring and managing various urban systems. For instance, flood sensors can help predict and manage potential flood risks.
And you say that, okay, I do not want the earthquake to affect my community. And then in principle, I would say in principle, in practice it's not easy, but in principle, you can design a cloak around the city so as to guide the earthquake wave away from the community to somewhere else in which the damage is less. It is about designing materials that can do wonders.
While modern traffic management systems can optimize transportation flow and reduce congestion in challenging terrains. Sustainable transportation. Cities with challenging geographical features often face transportation bottlenecks and congestion. Intelligent urban planning emphasizes the development of integrated and sustainable transportation systems. It may include investing in public transit options like buses, trams, and subways to provide efficient mobility for residents. Infrastructure resilience. Geographical limitations, such as seismic activity or vulnerability to extreme weather events, require cities to plan for infrastructure resilience. Smart urban planning involves building robust and adaptable infrastructure to withstand natural disasters and climate change impacts. This move includes constructing earthquake-resistant buildings, flood mitigation measures, and incorporating green infrastructure to manage stormwater runoff. Climate change adaptation. As climate change intensifies, cities must adapt to its effects, especially in areas prone to extreme weather events or rising sea levels. Efficient urban planning involves developing climate-resilient strategies, such as coastal protection measures, building codes that consider future climate scenarios, and sustainable water management practices. Third excuse: we need more money. The notion that financial resources are the sole solution to establishing ideal cities is an oversimplification that needs to consider the multifaceted nature of urban development. While financial resources are undoubtedly essential for infrastructure development and public services, relying solely on money overlooks other critical aspects of city planning and growth. 4 negative impacts of corruption and misallocation of funds on city development.
Because H stands for honesty. And indeed, what has brought most third world countries down and what has led to their failures in development has been corruption.
Infrastructure and public services. These vices can result in substandard infrastructure projects and inadequate public services. Construction projects may be awarded to unqualified contractors, leading to poorly built roads, bridges, and buildings. Essential services like healthcare, education, and sanitation may also be compromised due to diverted funds, negatively affecting the quality of life for city residents. Urban planning and zoning. Corruption can influence zoning decisions and land use regulations, leading to unplanned and haphazard urban sprawl. On the other hand, misallocating funds might divert resources away from essential urban planning initiatives, resulting in inadequate green spaces, lack of public transportation, and inefficient land utilization. Housing and real estate. Corruption can influence real estate transactions and housing allocation, leading to an unfair distribution of affordable housing opportunities. Funds for housing development or affordable housing projects may be misused, exacerbating housing shortages and creating slums or informal settlements. Environmental sustainability. Misallocating funds might divert resources from sustainability initiatives, hindering efforts to address pollution, waste management, and climate change adaptation. Cost-effective strategies and innovative funding approaches. Creating ideal cities involves balancing development needs with cost-effectiveness and sustainable funding approaches. Here are some cost-effective strategies and innovative funding approaches that can contribute to building ideal cities. Public-private partnerships, PPPs. They involve collaboration between the government and private sector entities to finance and develop projects. This approach allows the sharing of risks and resources, enabling cities to leverage private sector expertise and investment without solely relying on public funds. Tactical urbanism and incremental development. Tactical urbanism involves low-cost, temporary interventions to test ideas before implementing large-scale projects. Incremental development allows for gradual, small-scale improvements that respond to changing needs and constraints. These more affordable approaches can yield valuable insights before committing substantial resources. Value capture financing. This mechanism leverages the increase in property values resulting from public investments or infrastructure improvements. By taxing the beneficiaries of these initiatives, cities can generate revenue to fund further development. Examples include tax increment financing, TIF, and special assessment districts.
Districts, URDs, or TEDs are often used interchangeably but refer to the same concept typically. Cities create the districts to help fund improvements to an area that is considered to be blighted, which means it is in serious disrepair or lacks infrastructure. When and where a TIF can be applied depends on state and local laws.
Fourth excuse, it's the people's fault. This excuse relies on the notion that residents are somehow to blame for the problems in their cities, such as traffic congestion, crime, and poverty. However, this is a false and simplistic view of the complex factors contributing to urban problems. In reality, the problems in our cities are often the result of poor planning and investment decisions made by those in power, challenging the tendency to blame residents for urban issues. Since residents often have limited control over broader urban planning and resource allocation, blaming them fails to acknowledge the influence of government policies, private sector decisions, and other external factors. Urban policymakers and communities can work together to create positive and sustainable change by challenging the tendency to blame them and adopting an inclusive approach. Understanding the importance of community engagement and empowerment. Rather than blaming residents, engaging and empowering them are the keys to addressing urban issues effectively. Empowerment involves providing communities with resources, tools, and opportunities to take control of their futures and make meaningful contributions to city development. Community engagement also plays a vital role in decision-making processes, ensuring that the needs and desires of the community members inform policies and projects. Local knowledge and expertise should be valued and integrated into urban planning to foster a sense of ownership and belonging among residents. Creating inclusive cities that address diverse needs. Solving urban challenges requires holistic approaches that involve multiple stakeholders, including government agencies, private sector organizations, community groups, and academic institutions. Collaboration and coordination among these entities are essential to design comprehensive solutions that address the multifaceted nature of urban issues. Inclusive cities are built on equity and social justice principles, embracing diversity and recognizing the value different communities bring to urban life. Henceforth, urban planners and policymakers must actively work to create environments that are accessible and welcoming to all residents, regardless of their socioeconomic status, ethnicity, age, or ability. Fifth excuse: we can copy other successful cities. The idea of replicating the success of other cities might seem enticing, especially when witnessing the prosperity of renowned urban centers. Unfortunately, mindlessly adopting this approach can lead to significant shortcomings and even detrimental consequences. Limitations of replicating success without context. Cities are intricate tapestries woven together by various historical, cultural, geographical, and socioeconomic threads. What works for one city might not work for another due to differing contexts and challenges. The danger of cookie-cutter urban development approach. Cookie-cutter urban development refers to implementing standardized solutions across various cities without customization. This approach undermines the identity and character of a city, erasing its unique essence and replacing it with generic structures. As a result, cities lose their authenticity and sense of place, leading to homogenization and a lack of community attachment. The value of embracing uniqueness and building on local strengths. Each city has unique stories, strengths, and challenges essential when designing a sustainable future. Understanding and integrating local context into urban planning is crucial for creating places that feel like home to their inhabitants. Embracing the distinctiveness of a city and building on its local strengths also allows for cultivating vibrant, inclusive, and resilient communities that can stand the test of time. Finally, urban development and city management are complex processes influenced by the above-mentioned factors. A viable solution to these issues mainly involves thoughtful planning, collaboration, and investment rather than simplistic and unjustifiable excuses. If you enjoyed this video, kindly hit the like button and ask questions in the comment section. You should also subscribe to the channel, as I'll continue to share more valuable information. Click here to watch our next video, where we explore even more exciting details.